Peace and love, peace and love. It's your brother Isaiah again with another video for the conscious brothers and sisters in the conscious community. Keeping the struggle because we know that it's through the struggle that we grow. Also, I like to say that it is, in fact, a slow process for progress and that the race is not to the swift, it's to those that remain dutiful. So make sure you stay in this thing for the long haul. Y'all already know my videos never constitute legal advice. I'm not a legal counsel. I'm not an attorney. I don't wear no titles, for there will be a transgression against God's law. I'm just your brother. I just share with you education and information about my walks and about my travels throughout my journey called life. And I would like to extend these honors to you, because when you're honoring man and you're honoring woman, you're honoring yourself. Let me give adoration to the Most High. For without the Most High, this would not be possible. And the Most High is the head in the temple of my life. And I like to extend the same acknowledgement to all of his messengers, all of his prophets. And I like to say peace unto you, beloved brothers and sisters, and grand rising to the indigenous peoples of the Americas. How's everyone? Myself, I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm thankful. I'm rejoiceful for the time that we living in, for the age that we're in, and for the accessibility to information, which is so necessary in advancement in this life. You know, I do a lot of research. I do a lot of studying, and the more you study, the more divine you see that this is. This is a divine mission. And when you understand transgression is to go against God's law. So if God said that man is supposed to live a certain way, or man is not supposed to ever be surety for a person or anything of that nature, and man or one man is acting as surety. So let me explain something to you, right? Because a lot of us are still like not really understanding our identity, our soul identity. So whenever a child is born, a person is born along with the child. So a child is born in its person. The person is the property of the child, which the child is the host of the person. The child is incompetent when it's first born because it's not developed mentally or to comprehend its ability to sustain its body. You see what I'm saying? So we go through stages of development before we mature within and intellectually become intellect. See, to where we can control actions, deeds, thoughts. You see, it's a process of development that man and one man goes through in order to take over the flesh, right? Now, when you reach 18 years of age, you are supposedly fully aware, knowledgeable enough to be held responsible for your actions with this body that you're in, okay, which is your person. All right. And when you're using your person is, this body is like a part of the earth, right? It's like it has an interest in all elements because it is created of all the elements. It is the source of all the elements combined into one flesh, right? Which gives it dominion because of its ability to stand, to walk, And everything else in creation is the same as this flesh. It's of the same source, but it can't do what we can do, which makes us gods over everything, right? Because of our ability to reason, to think, to walk, to talk, to do all the things that we can do that other creations can't do. You know, some of them can do other things, but they're not able to do things to the totality in which man has been blessed with the gift to do all these great things. But with the same gift of life and power of comprehension, he can be the evilest and most wickedest person you've ever met. So that's where we at today. And the reason why most people don't know thyself is because of man. The same brother and sister that should teach you the truth about who you are, the same individuals that are making you transgress against God's law and holding you accountable for it. Because you should know. You see? So every man is a living man or a living woman, right? And every person is a living person. I'm gonna say it again, and I hope you just please listen to me, because this is really important that you understand, because I'm not speaking of myself, okay? I'm not speaking of myself. Something else is speaking for me right now. I don't know nothing about this. Trust me. And this is not me speaking. How can I tell you something that I'm just like you? Who is explaining this? You need to understand who's telling you this, because it ain't me. Okay, not me, the person you see on the screen. It's something in me that's giving you this information. And I want you to know who that is. Okay? Because it's he who knows all things, man. Okay? So this is what he said. All right? So when you born, you're a child and a person is born. And they are both recorded. That's why in the person is the child's name. What? Tell me, listen to what I'm saying. In the person is the child's name. So when you see the name of the person, if you look at the birth certificate, it'll say the name of the child. So the person carries the child. And the child is the living force in that person. But if the child is incompetent, it can't make any claims. It can't receive any rights of property or anything because of his incompetence of who and how to control his property. All right, so like, man, when you understand the administration of your administration, for you to be able to administer what's yours and understanding your blessing and your gift that you've been given and how to take control of it. A lot of people be like, well, I want to take control of the person, but if you're already possession of the person because you possess the person, you are the sole possessor of your own principle. You live in the principle. You are the only one who has the rights to act for it. Like, once you truly understand thyself, you will understand your legal position and you understand what I'm talking about. And then you'll understand your rights over any lien creditor. You see, it'll start coming to you. You'll be like, oh, brother Isaiah, I get what you're talking about, because now your eyes are open. See, we got to wake up. You've been sleeping for a long time, and it's time for us to rise above thy flesh into the thinking of God, right? Say, rise above your flesh, right? Because when you're bound by flesh, then you're conducive to being a person. You're conducive to being something other than yourself. And then you start transgressing all the laws. So then your brother can hold you accountable. If you go into court and we're in an administration of trust, and you come in and you accept being the person, then that's a transgression. That's a sin. Right then and there, they can punish you for that. Like any act done to you and you not asserting yourself properly is solely your responsibility to know who you are, right? And to assert yourself and your identity in any legal proceeding, understanding your rights, understanding your ability to act for the legal person, understanding that every child is a living man or woman when they reach a certain age, but every child is connected to a person. So when every child acts or does a thing, they're acting through a person, because the child lives within the person, and the child is the agent, the source, the creator, the grantor, the transfer, the assigner of the person that it operates for. And when you understand these simple concepts, you'll understand your legal position and your ability to address any issue concerning thy property, because you have legal rights of interest. Your interest comes from the fact that you are the sole principal director. You are the one that's in control. So most people say, well, how do you control? You are already in control. All right. How do you take control? Is by you taking control of your thoughts and then understanding who you are. Once you understand yourself, you'll understand that nobody ever was able to take nothing from you. Maybe you've been granting property away or giving it away without you knowing that you've been gifting away all your value. And then you sit up and saying, I'm broke. I ain't got no money. Why come you don't? Because you've been giving it all away, not understanding thyself. See? Not understanding your interests. You like, why would, if we know, if you study, if you're a spiritual person, you can't be spiritual and don't know that the wicked ones has always worked against the interests of the people. It talks about it all through the scriptures. It says it all through the damn scriptures. Excuse my French, because sometimes I just, man, it gets me so mad that, that it's so simple, but it's so complex if you're not divinely following divine laws. And you're sweeping down every day. Oh man, this ain't got nothing to do with no spiritual. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I say that you're transgressing the laws and that you're living as a person, and you're not supposed to be doing that. Not supposed to be doing that. And as a person, you lose all the blessings of life. The blessings of life was given to man and woman. So if you're not identifying yourself as a man or a woman, then you wonder why you don't have no blessings, or it seems like you're restricted under everything that you're doing. Or you see what I'm saying? Or somebody's withholding from you things that belong to you because you're not able to identify who you are. You know what I'm saying? You steady legally keep operating and identifying yourself as something that's property, that's identifying a right that you have. See, and these things right here are crucial, man. Crucial because this system is tied into like the common law and like the things that man do. So like you can't blame somebody else for something you did. You can't say, oh well, this company did this to me, when you the one that issued everything. You the one requested it and you issued it. You see what I'm saying? And you're responsible for everything that you did. That's a law of nature, bro. That ain't something that the government made up. That's something that's a divine law. You know what I'm saying? What you reap, you sow. You see what I'm saying? You put something out, then you responsible for that. If you don't understand what you're doing, then you shouldn't even be doing it. Like, when you reach a certain age, you should know what you're doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, the more and more you blame somebody else for something that you're responsible for, and understanding, accepting your responsibility. So quick to run in the court and say that ain't your name. Accept your responsibility. What you running from? What you afraid of? Life? Living? What is it? You shouldn't be afraid. The only thing you should be afraid of is that you haven't read the scriptures properly, or you haven't put yourself in divine line with God. So you need to go back and reread the scriptures, reread whatever you choose to call that path, And you need to realign yourself and make sure that all your actions is in accordance to what you say you believe, right? Because part of what you may be suffering from may because you say you believe one way, but you live totally different. You live contrary, you eat contrary, and you do contrary things to all the things you believe. Whether you accept it or not, man. See, the first part of being conscious is to know what a man is, or to know what a woman is, and to know what a person is. And when you don't understand the difference between the two, and you choose to be one instead of the other, don't get mad when you become liable for everything because of the transgressions of God's laws. Your brother just doing what he's supposed to do. If you do the right thing, he'll do the right thing. If you do the wrong thing, he's going to hold you accountable. I mean, we in trust, right? Right? Ain't we in trust? Ain't you been granted this body? When you selected by God to be the host of this body? Ain't you on a quest? Ain't you an agent, a steward, somebody responsible who's been selected by the grantor? Who does the grantor? God, the creator. He's the grantor. You've been selected. You have responsibilities. Is this starting to make sense now? Who's in control? Huh? Who's in control? Oh, you said it was the government. No, I said the government is the ones responsible to hold you accountable for transgression of God's laws. Say I'm wrong. Prove me wrong. I can show you in the scriptures where it says that the state was put in place in order to hold the transgressors accountable. And any illegal act you accept legally. Now, let me say that again, because I don't think you heard what I just said. I said any illegal act that you accept legally, it's your fault. It's your responsibility to understand agreements, contracts, interests, obligors, obligees, leaseors, leasees, sublease. It's your responsibility to learn that. You come in here thinking somebody's supposed to just give you something. No, you've been given everything already. He already gave you the body. The body is built to do whatever you desire. It can do it for you. All you got to do is send the intellect. Give the intellect, and the body will perform. It'll do anything that you intellectually tell it to do, because you are the electrical post that's sending out that thought to that flesh, that's causing that flesh to move, to do what it's doing. Like, I think that the saddest thing in the world is for you to not know who you truly are. It's for you to for you to be inside a body and not acknowledge your true presence. Not acknowledge the essence within the body, the living soul within that body. For you not to acknowledge yourself. That's sad, man. That's sad if all you acknowledge is your body, your person, and you don't acknowledge yourself. You do not acknowledge that you exist. That is sad. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to wake you up, because you need to acknowledge your presence. You are here. You are alive. And you need to express that to anybody that's infringing on your rights or holding you back from your right of usage of something. and you are a living man or you are a living woman, can you express thyself? Can you say that you are alive? Can you write and put something in words? Because God said that the word is written, not typed, not put on a computer, but written. Written, can you write? Or do you want to keep modifying with all these other things and wonder why you can't get nothing done? When all you got to do is write a simple paragraph in your own handwriting. Come on now. Can you write? Can you express thyself? Can you take a pen and put it on some paper? Or all you know how to do is just sign your name on a piece of paper and let a machine say everything else for you. You see what I'm saying? It all depends on what it is and what you're trying to do. You know, it's just like, have you ever thought about a negotiable instrument? Why it has to be in writing and signed by the one who's making it? Why? Because only a man can write. If you did, it's duh. Do you know anything else that can write? Besides a man or a woman that can write and express himself and sign his signature, that's usually an act of God. I'm just being real with you. So the less that you dehumanize yourself when you stop being human, when you stop utilizing those things that were told to you to use as the source. When God says that, and I use God as a vague word to, keep it common with everybody because I don't want to offend nobody by my beliefs, even though it doesn't matter, but just out of respect, we're going to keep it general, so nobody feels offended because, my whole intent is never to offend you, to lower you from the message that's being, delivered. So just remember that. Understanding yourself, being able to teach your children the truth about who they are, not just telling them that their name is who they are. You got to teach your children that they are inside a body. You know what I'm saying? That they are a child that was born, but you was born in a body, and your body is your person. And you got to explain that to them. You got to explain to them what the birth certificate represents. Stop all the stuff that everybody's teaching as far as commercial and all. If you really take the time out and really study scripture and you really take the time to think about everything, man, you can see everything for what it really is. And then you be like, oh, I get it now. I understand what this is now. Oh, so I understand our rights to make claims because we control the person, and we got certificates to show that we are the owners. So it's just like, once you understand and you understand you got rights, man, you ain't got to do all that hokey pokey, all that old jumping and skipping. And, you can take your time and you can show by a preponderance of evidence of your rights to do something or your rights to make a legal claim. As long as you, the man or the woman, is competent, then everything else will fall into play as far as any claims made by you, especially if the record reflects that what you're saying is true. So, like most people don't get it. Like, how do you do anything? How do you do any act as far as how do you deal with a mortgage? You got to be able to express yourself. You got to be able to know your position. You got to be able to understand the legal ramifications of your legal person and your property rights and your rights in the mortgage as a party having an ownership and an interest in it. And if you can't understand those legal ramifications, then how can you deal with a mortgage? What you gonna go pay somebody thousands of dollars to tell you something on the thing and then still be kind of confused, don't know what you're doing? Like, I keep telling y'all, man, that's not what it's about. You need to be in school. If somebody got something and you know that the main thing that you lacking, like, it's too much information that's been put out for people to not understand or say, oh, that well, what they saying ain't true. Everybody knows it's true. It's too much information out for people to not know that what we say is true. A lot of people might not understand it to a level where most of us have grown. You see what I'm saying? Like, building better minds is about what it says. It's about building better minds. If you want a better mind for you, for your child, then you join building better minds, and you'll start building a better mind for your family. And then you'll be able to have these deliberate conversations like what we're talking about here now in full detail with your children. Don't you want to be able to teach them the truth? Don't you want to be able to explain this in full detail to them to where they have a real good understanding of what's going on, rather than you trying to just sign a bill and send it back? Like, don't you really want to learn? So if you just in it for a monetary gain, you wanna gain the whole world and lose your whole soul. That's what you want to do, huh? You want to be? That's foolish. We need to gain the world because he blessed us with everything already. Everything is already ours. All we got to do is be in compliance. He said we follow him and accept him. See, acceptance is the key. So if God is the source of all things, and if you accept God, that's your liberation, that's your freedom, that's your way out. You see what I'm saying? But have you truly accepted God? Some of y'all can't even accept the rights on the contract. So have you truly accepted God? You say, oh yeah, I believe in God. I got baptized. You know what I'm saying? No, have you accepted God? Have you accepted God? Have you even acknowledged God's presence? Huh? Have you acknowledged God's presence? I'm going to ask you again. Have you acknowledged God's presence in you? He said, greater is he that is in you than he that you see in the world. So have you ever acknowledged he that is in you? Have you? Have you ever sat back and meditated on he that is in you? Not the one you see in the world, but the one in you. Have you ever meditated on him? Or have you always been praying to the one that you see in the world? Huh? The one that they told you was Jesus. Or you always been meditating on him? He said, wait a minute. It's one greater in you than the one you see in the world that they telling you that is God. Do you understand? Do you understand that God is in you? You don't look outside yourself for God because he's the source of you. He's the created force of all things. So if you're a thing that exists, then he's the source of you. So have you acknowledged his presence? Because if you do, then you can then begin to discover all things. All things will begin to reveal themselves to you. Once you acknowledge that his presence, once you acknowledge that he's always been there. See, you ain't, do you see this creation? Look at that fingernail. Look at the way my handprints are made. See that? Yes, look at that. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, he did it all. He did it all. But guess what? I acknowledge his presence too. And I know that he's there. You see what I'm saying? I don't reckon. I know how magnificent he is because I'm looking at it. I'm saying, wow, look at what he did. Oh my God. He is magnificent. And then I go and I meditate to him and I submit to him and he reveals all things to me. So you need to learn how to tap into him. See, because somebody might want you to look at the one that's in the world and not acknowledge the one that's in you. See, and then you wondering why you can't figure nothing out because you're not tapping into the source. See, and a lot of us, we can't, and I ain't saying this, you got a minister, pastor, whatever, you know, he's given his portion of understanding. That's that man's understanding of what he's learned through his schooling. And remember, God, when you learning, you don't go to school to learn God's word. God's word is not actually even really written in a book at all. It's an unwritten word. See, like what I'm speaking, that ain't written. This ain't written in no script. This is divine essence coming through me. So when you understand how God works, it ain't some people walk around and they write down these words. They say that brother was a prophet. That brother there, they didn't know who he was while he was on the scene. But when you go back and you study that brother material, he was before his time. So you when you understand that and people write your words down and then you become somebody great. But it's after you die when people really begin to notice who you truly are. You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing. See, we've been conduced to believing that only prophets were those that are written about in the scripture. So in this day and time, we wouldn't even know what a prophet looked like. Most of us don't even know the definition of what a prophet is. So if you don't know the attributes of a prophet, you wouldn't be able to know this one if he was in your midst today because you don't know those attributes. See what I'm saying? So you could be in the midst of prophets, angels, and all kind of things, but lack the understanding of what they are. So when they are around you, you're not able to even acknowledge their presence. You see what I'm saying? So it's just a lot of things to think about and I say that because I've been around angels. I've had a chance to speak with angels. And when I say angel, I'm not talking about some spooky thing floating in the sky. I'm talking about a man. But the spirit that was in that man was of a divine source that was higher and vibrating on a level that was unimaginable. And the words that man spoke were words coming from a divine source. And I knew that I was speaking to an angel. Man, listen. When you understand, when you chosen by God to do work, you got to understand things. When people are put in your path to lead you or guide you in a way, just like what they call them, the oracles in the Matrix that were guiding Neo. You know, you're gonna meet people throughout. Man, listen, what I do is not made up. This is not a script. This is not some script. This is something that I was chosen and selected to do. You know what I'm saying? And my whole lifestyle only revealed to me what my mission is and who I truly am and what I'm supposed to be doing. So, and me understanding my purpose and understanding the time and understanding what they're using as weapons and how they're controlling the people and all of their acts, right? I was chosen to do a thing. I was chosen to reveal certain aspects of things to give you knowledge, to give you understanding, to bring it to where it's comprehensible to you, to where you can understand what's happening to you and combat it, to come with an alternative to it, to be able to know how to stop certain things from happening to you. I can lead you there, but you got to drink it on your own. See, it ain't for me to make you act. It's on you to act. The first in the fiduciary act, they got an act called the fiduciary act, and in that act it says the first failure. No, it says if you have been selected by these concerning that person, and you allow somebody to push you out your office, man, I think I said enough, man. I think I said enough. Because if you don't believe that God selected you, and you don't believe that you're here to do a specific task, and you don't believe that this is part of your estate, and that you're here to bestow blessings upon your loved ones, and see, it's starting to make sense. The more I study, the more it starts to make sense. When he said replenish and subdue the earth. So we're not supposed to be like, only one woman can only have, so many children. And this is not something I'm saying to be offensive to any woman. I'm just speaking my spiritual understanding of what I'm learning. Okay. And even my saying this to, make it seem like I'm just speaking basically spiritually what the spirit is telling me to say. Okay. So if we was here to subdue and replenish the earth, our job is to replenish it, to conquer. In order for you to be dominant, you have to be the majority of the people, right? If one man is limited to one woman, but he has the seed in him that can produce many seeds and produce a nation. Why would somebody, if I was the devil and I wanted to trick you, and the book tell you that you shaped in iniquity, I mean, you born in sin, and you say, why wouldn't you believe that if the devil was smart and he knew that you had the supreme germ, or your germ is supreme? So if you was to always, if you was to have, if you was to find, if you was a very magnificent man, you had great potential, and you wanted to, your loins to spread amongst the population because you know what you can produce through who you are, you will find qualified women that you choose to adopt to your estate, that you will take care of, and you will make sure that they are fully covered, and she would bear children by you. And then you will find another woman and she will bear children, and you will take care of these children, will become like kings. And like, man, this is how we were supposed to be doing it. How else can we subdue the earth? How else can we replenish the earth if we not doing that? If one woman is saying, "Oh well, he's supposed to just be my man," and they got us so wrapped up into sexual acts and taught us this stuff, what sex is. It wasn't never no such thing as that. We never knew about that. Sin is learning of something that we never knew of. We never knew of that. It wasn't no such thing as that. When we had multiple wives and concubines, and we weren't thinking about, oh, you cheating. Oh, that's called such and such. You see what I'm saying? They brought a lot of this stuff in order to make us, to teach us these concepts, in order to induce us to adopt that as right, so that we will go contrary to God's law. Meaning we would transgress the law. We wouldn't reproduce. We wouldn't replenish the earth. We wouldn't populate our seeds like we supposed to. We'll only be with one woman, and things like, and then they change things in order to modify it, to make it to where. But if you go back and you study, man, and you really, and when you trip off, like when you watch like how the prophets had multiple wives and concubines and stuff, but that was just them focusing on just that prophet's life. That don't mean that it wasn't other people that had the same thing. You know what I'm saying? It was just because that was focused on that prophet's life, and this is what the prophet had. All right. And you talking about a man of consciousness. You're talking about a man of spirituality. You're talking about a man that's divinely connected to God in the source. So of course he knows what his job is. His job is not to be caught up on sexual acts. His job is to replenish. His job is to get his seed out there in order to produce. You see what I'm saying? But in some way we was broken from that, to where you won't even see that nowhere now, where you probably see some people now and say one man got 2 or 3 wives, and they separate. Or but a lot of people, they be on, if you got 2 girls, they gotta be my Nas twice on some other stuff, man. And anytime you pervert it in that way, anytime somebody come with something that's in accordance to what's right, it's gonna always be looked at with that perverted concept, because that's like a it's like a glitch in the matrix. Like, for real. Like a lot of stuff that they do is purposely. They do it purposely because they don't want you to be able to, like, do you understand? Imagine imagine how many of us it would be if like, like, what a lot of times it's almost like that now anyway, because you be having one dude and he'll have like 6, 7 different girls that he got pregnant. One man can have 10 women at one time pregnant. He can have 10 different women at one time, all pregnant at the same time. Do you understand what that is? That's powerful. That's powerful. Do you understand that? So just man, you talking about making an army? Oh my God, man! You talking about building a nation? Just imagine if every man was able to do that. You know what I'm saying? And we were all one community. You know what I'm saying? Say 25 of us, 25 men, and willing women, we say we created something where we say, okay, well, this is what we want to build, this community. Part of the terms is this, that, we would provide this, and that for all women that come, that allow us to adopt them as part of our state. And then this is all about building a nation. And say it was 25 men and they had 25 women apiece. And all 25 of those women were all pregnant. Do you understand that, man? Like, that's power. That's real power, and that's what they don't want. You know what I'm saying? So they gotta put stuff in to make you feel like, oh, he cheating, or you make you feel like you doing. See, so as a man think it, so he is. So if we can put this in your mind, you'll feel that it's wrong. See, it's the same thing with a traffic ticket. If we can say it's criminal and make you feel like speeding is, come in here and you accept the charge. You accept being charged under something that see, the only way you can be charged is by acceptance. I hope you feel me, man, because a lot of what I'm saying is really on a divine level. You know what I'm saying? If you a mundane person and you only on the flesh level, it's going to offend you. And I'm sorry if you offended. I'm not trying to offend you. I'm just giving my opinion of what I see in the power if we were to operate on a system like that, to where it wasn't about no sex, it was about producing a nation. See what I'm saying? Repopulating our domination. How can we dominate if we got to dominate? If you really are about your people, then that's what it's about. So that's like that to me, that's power. And when a man can take charge and move a nation in that direction like that and get people to follow him and believe in that structure of reproduction and doing God's work here on this earth, damn right they're going to want to kill him off the rip. I guarantee you he'll be dead. I guarantee he'll be dead, because that is power right there. I'm trying to tell you, that's power. All right, remember that. That's real power, especially if those children are structured in a way, taught in a way, learned in a way that benefits them. Man, look at here. Look at here, the limits of what one can do. You know what I'm saying? Building your own government, building your own police force, building everything yourself, authorizing your own orders. You know what I'm saying? Building your own curriculums is what the agents have to take, as far as tests and things like that, through the agency, authorizing all these tests as applicable tests by the agency, stamped and approved, saying, yeah, this is the test they take. Once they take that, they automatically certify. We issue a certificate of certification. See, that's the thing about running an agency. You have all the power. You have all the authority to issue or do whatever you want to do for your, just like anybody else can do for theirs. Just because somebody feel like they can run their agency better than anybody else. See, the government is nothing but an agency. The thing about the government that's different from any other agency, the government is a controlled agency. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to get up off of here, y'all. I thank y'all for tuning in, for all y'all support, for the many years, for all the people that's really been supporting me, really been following me, man. I really thank y'all, man, because it's for y'all that I do this, man. I do this for, for the people, for us to learn, for us to know, because we have a right to know the truth, and we have a right to be able to decide for ourselves whether we want to participate in deceptive acts and practices, or we want to actually live in accordance to what's right. You know what I'm saying? And if somebody's only teaching us that which is deceptive or a practice that's not right, or that would make us transgress against God's law, or that would give us a license to break God's law, or that would give us the right to do something that would be against God. Why would you need a license to drive? Because driving is a commercial activity. What is a commercial activity? It's a law that violates the laws of the land. What are the laws of the land? The laws of the land are the laws of God. God said that man was equal. He said that man shall not gain an interest over his brother. So it's illegal for a man to have a title like attorney, police officer. All those titles are a violation of God's law. When you do that, you transgress the law and you accept man-made law as law over God's law, and then you enforce policies and codes against the people. Now you become a perpetrator against the people for the common interest of government. This is what all pharaohs always did toward us as the people. But we are woken today. You're not gonna be able to get that off today. You know what I'm saying? Today it's a different age and it's a different time. And we're not playing about what we know to be true and correct. See, the whole thing is that they never had no power over you. You are the power. You are the source. You are the one that's in control of everything. Nothing operates without your consent. So if you learn how consent operates and you learn how not to give consent, you can stop a lot of stuff from happening. But you got to learn contracts. You got to understand implicit and implied agreements. If you don't, and I would suggest that you study implicit and implied agreements, because that's what police officers use against you. They are contractors, and when they go through their schooling, they don't even know that they're being taught solicitations. They're being taught how to engage the people to acquire information or to get you to participate, or to, you know what I'm saying, to basically gain an interest in you. All right, to involve or to have sexual it's called commercial sex with you, to where you are private but they're commercial. But what they're doing is you know how the machines was in the Matrix, where they was steady trying to get at Zion. Now see, you live in Zion, and Zion is, you protected by your person, but your person is inside the matrix. And the matrix is the machine, right? The machines are the corporations, right? The policy enforcers trying to get the people that's in Zion, that we supposed to be free from all of this stuff. So they steady doing this, trying to get at you. You know what I'm saying? So the way they get in is by consent. It's like a vampire. It's like anytime you engage with them, if you don't do the right things, you automatically open the door for access for sexual intercourse. So now they got you in a sexual activity where they're trying to say that the activity is a commercial activity, between where you're purchasing products or you buying something from them, or they're trying to treat it as a different type of activity. And because you're not able to understand what's happening, you become engaged by everything that's happening. You become bound by your performance and by the way that you act. Now they got you. They got you. Once the judge can get you to believe that everything that he's saying is authority, it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Just think about it. Like, it's just like you saying, hey, listen, man, you codes and policies ain't law. And then you go right in the courtroom to a policy enforcer, which is a judge, and you go in there and let him enforce policy on you like it's law. And see what I'm saying? It's the exact same thing, man. So, once you understand what I'm talking about, man, you be like, oh man, it's a big game, man. And that's all it is. It's one big game. And once you figure out the game and you learn how to play by the rules, and the joke is up. Now, you know what I'm saying? Now people want to start running and hiding and ducking and all of this, because now they being exposed. You know what I'm saying? So now I know a claim is made from one living person to another living person. So if you saying that the straw man that you call the straw man is a dead person, then if you wrote using that name, then that wouldn't be a living person writing, right? Because you saying that the person is a dead person. But I keep trying to tell you that the name is a living person's name. You alive, you not dead. but that's your legal name. So, but the name represents a living person. So if a living person was to write using that name, why would they say you was dead? I just don't. I think it's a misunderstanding that, I was at once. I misunderstood things too, because you got to grow, you have to mature, and you really have to want to know the truth. And if you don't know how to tap into the source to ask for discernment, then you're not going to get the truth. You're only going to get the truth when you know where God is located and you know how to tap in, and then he will help you. He will give you the answers. And then you'll be able to see why Brother Isaiah has been able to discover so much. You think that it's, oh, I'm reading this code and reading. No, the codes is just giving me information, but the discernment of what I've been saying in the info about your person and you being born and a child and a person, and that came from God. That came from the source. He told me that. You know what I'm saying? And when I thought about it, I say, man, that makes sense. I was thinking myself, I'm like, shoot, when it came to my head, I was like, dang, see, you think it's me. It's me, but it ain't, it's something else in me too. That you don't get to hear. I get to hear it. Like it's talking to me right now. I can hear it right now talking. Why? I'm talking to you. So, see, that's what I'm trying to tell you. See, when you understand what that is, and you learn how to communicate with it, man, you can, man, listen. I guarantee you, it ain't nothing that it don't know. I guarantee you, ain't nothing that it don't know. Nothing. And it's so cold-blooded, right? Look, it's so cold-blooded. It'll deliver the message to you. It'll bring it to you. When you communicate with it and you talk to it and you tell it what you want and you tell it what you need, and it start telling you how, because you can't actually like you can't do that to talk. You gotta actually, humble yourself. That's why it says you gotta be humble. So if you praying out loud, that's not being humble. Okay. So to speak to God, you gotta speak to him in humility, right? So you go to God humbly. Okay. Man, listen, this is what the Spirit telling me to tell you. Okay. Don't get mad at me. This is what the Spirit's saying. So you gotta come to him humbly. So when you come to him humbly, you can't come talking. Now you understand why the monks meditated, because they understood that the source was within. And in order to speak to the source, you got to meditate. And then the way you speak to the source is through thought, not through verbal communication. When you speak to the Spirit is not something you speak. The Spirit speaks out. But when you speak to the Spirit, you speak within. See, right now, the Spirit is speaking out. See? But when I want to communicate with that which is speaking out, I shut the hell up and I listen. And I communicate with it by transmitting electronical thoughts. Mentally, it's hard. Like when you first start doing it, it's going to feel funny. Like, I'm telling you, it's going to feel funny. It's because you're going to be like, what am I doing? What am I trying to do? You got your eyes closed. You're trying to meditate. You trying to be as quiet as you could possibly be. You're trying to go into a zone to where you just zone out. And when you in this zone, it's like you in a space and you can just, I can't really explain it. You communicating by thought though. And the Spirit is talking to you. And sometimes when you wake up, sometimes when you start doing this, it's going to start, when you wake up, information just going to be in your head. It's going to be telling you to go look something up. I'm telling you, like, it's wild. Like, you know what I'm saying? When I first discovered this aspects of communicating with the source, because at first I used to pray out loud. You know what I'm saying? When I was in the nation and the more signs and how they pray and all that, nobody never really taught like being you got to go into God in humility and being quiet and being able to. Nobody ever even teach you to, like, we'll say that man, the black man is God or all that, but they don't tell you to talk to yourself as God. They don't teach you that. They still teaching you that another man is God. And then, but and I don't say this to no disrespect to the nation, But if Master Farad Muhammad was God, then that would automatically conflict with the Bible, because it says greater is he that is in you than he that you see in the world. So if we can't praise or say that that man was greater than the one that's inside of us, that gave us the body, that gave us life, that gave us everything. You see what I'm saying? And the more that I study, that's why I backed away from all those groups, because as I expanded, I realized I couldn't be a part of no group, because God was breaking me away from all of that. And he was saying that you can't be a part of nobody's group. Brother Isaiah, you got to create your own, because your mission is your mission. And what you are chosen to do is not for everybody. So, and that's why most people branch and do their own thing, because that's, that's part of, being blessed, is being able to be a creator. You see, because if my message is a different message than any other message that's ever been brought before me, and it's my job to develop, to create that, what I need to create to fulfill my purpose here. It ain't nobody else's job to do it. It's my job, because I know my mission and I understand what I'm being blessed and what I've been given. And to be able to even have this conversation with y'all, even to even bestow upon you these blessings that's been bestowed upon me, I'm forever grateful. I thank you for your time, man. And I hope that nobody was offended by anything I said. I'm just giving my portion of understanding. I can truly assure you that my only intention is to help you, is to educate you, and to give you correct information. And part of giving you information is not always about commercial, because the commercial aspects of things is only dealing with transgression of laws that are divine, because you're operating commercially when you're not supposed to be doing that. That's a transgression. So when you get held accountable and have to pay debts and stuff, then you understand what you're doing wrong. You're not supposed to you're not even supposed to even be giving consent to that. That's what rescission is all about. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you feel that I've given you consent to enter into a commercial activity with you, then I'm